Hi, I'm Jo McKee of McKee Creative and The Jo Show, and I wanted to jump in just to really inspire you today. It's something that I haven't talked about a lot because I was building for myself first to see how things worked. I've been doing this since January intensely. And what I want you to get inspired by today is that if you are using AI as typing a question into a chat somewhere and getting an answer, you haven't even begun to imagine what is possible right now. In January, I discovered what was known as, it's known now as OpenClaw, and it was basically Peter Steinberger putting together AI intelligence, but giving it hands, connecting it up to things so that it could book flights for him and do all sorts of things and talk to it in Telegram. Great. So I built an OpenClaw and started to rebuild my business from the ground up to be AI native. Every single process, think, okay, if this was an employee, what tools would I give them, what information, what constraints to check the quality of work? And I found that I was spending half my time at least, and the cost of the language model on API keys, hundreds and hundreds of dollars just spent fixing the thing every time it updated, it was breaking. I found a new one in May called Hermes, which is far more reliable. Sorry, I'm bumping the desk in my excitement here. Far more reliable. It doesn't break on updates. It's also designed to be self-learning, so it doesn't forget things all the time. So I want you to remember the name Hermes, Hermes, from Nous Research. It's free to download and use. You connect it to your model and you're away. That's the basics of it. There's a lot to consider though. So at the moment, I have a fleet of agents, and I'll explain why, running pretty much every aspect of my business to the point where I have freed up a lot of time. You know that promise that tech gave us, that it would give us our lives back and we could have time? You can choose as you get ideas, which, yes, they're tumbling in my head and you get all this excitement, want to keep building, but you can actually go and enjoy some free time too, which I've been practicing this last week, and it's lovely. Aside, you want to give your agent, I guess you want to give it eyes and hands, so you want to be connecting it to tools. You want to give it a brain. You need to store your information somewhere in a way that it makes sense for that agent and doesn't overload it too, because otherwise you get sort of bloated. And you want to give it constraints and rules and quality. So there are quite a few aspects to setting up an agent to do it well. Think of the old thing of garbage in, garbage out. The other really big thing that I want to put up immediately is you don't want to build a system that locks you into one provider. This is your business or your life management for your household or whatever it is, and you don't want to be held captive by any big company. So there are ways you can build this that give you a good degree of freedom and portability. Last I heard, we'd had a new language model every 10 days since April release. They're getting smarter, more powerful, all the things. You don't want to be locked into anything. So I did speak to an agency owner last week ago or 2 weeks ago. She was here on holidays. I live in the Whitsundays. It's great out here. Great Barrier Reef is just there. Anyway, so she was here and we were talking about agents, and she'd been given a grant to have a government advise her, teach her about AI, and they were just literally teaching her to build projects in Claude co-work folders. Now that's going to get a lot done, but it also means that your whole business infrastructure is tied to Anthropic. Now, you might not want that in the long run. You might be happy with that, fine. But there are ways that, and I'll throw some links in the description if you want to tinker, that you can download open source software that lets you run things on your own terms, basically, and hook it up to whatever you like and move it when you want to. The other thing to consider is that the intelligence that you hook it up to matters. Anthropic have a policy where they don't want you to use your subscription for agents like Hermes or OpenClaw, because you do get a lot more value in the subscription to using an API key. I hope I'm not getting too techie for you here, but basically it's better value. But OpenAI and XAI, you can use your subscription for your Hermes agent, which is going to get you a lot further. I'm running ahead. So I guess I just wanted to say, number one, AI is happening. Whether you like it or not, whether you're worried that it's going to take us all out or not, is actually beside the point. If you run a business, you kind of need to know how to use the most competitive tools to keep your business costs down and to get your profits up, to help your employees do more with the time that you've got. You know, all that stuff you think you haven't got time to do. There's a lot you can fix right now. So it's kind of irresponsible if you're not using AI to the full extent possible in your business. unless you have some strong position where you just want to shun it completely. I don't think that's the right position to take. Don't allow yourself to be locked in, but also customizing your systems that you build. When you download an agent, you need to tell it who you are. You need to tell it who it is, what the rules of your game are, what your processes are, what good looks like. Otherwise, it's just going to give you the same slop everybody else does. So you do need to train it and you do need to tweak it, and then you'll find ways to improve it as you go. I haven't been building this for people because, as I say, it's taken me since January to learn to do this. Everything from strategy and research through to writing content and building projects for clients, custom projects as well, measuring the output, analysing it, and then working back to do the same again is all being run by my agents. They're doing competitor intelligence. They're looking at what works and why for both paid ads, for SEO, for organic content. We're helping get rid of paid plugins. For one client, she was using a plugin that was $99 US a month in Shopify, and we were able to build her a custom solution. So she saved $1,200 a year just from me tinkering. So there's a lot you can build. Now, I am obviously middle-aged. I'm not a coder. I haven't even completed university. So you can do this. You know, there are people just running rings around us right now with what they're building, and it's kind of crazy if you don't. Okay, so you want to give it a brain. I'll just list out what I do. You're welcome to find other options. I use a free platform called Obsidian. I've chosen to run everything on my own computer at home, which means I need to keep it on for the thing to be running. You can run these in the cloud if you prefer. And so that's become, like, think of Notion or wherever you store your documents, but Obsidian's lovely because it's markdown files that agents like. It's free, and I just have that running on my desk as my brain for my agency. Then I use a platform called Paperclip, which is free, open source for task management, and it just lets me open a task and the agent runs it, assign it to whatever agent I want to, and have it tell me when it's done. You know, it gives you the board of what's in the backlog and what's needing approval and all that sort of thing. And then you can literally just build out quality systems where it needs to check, you know, is it producing slop or is it good? And what, as I say, what does good look like? You've got to give it lots of good examples. And if it's not going to pass that gate, then it will stop and let you know. And you've got time to do something about it. I hope I'm not talking too vaguely here. I just really wanted to get out and inspire you that the time is now. You need to know what's happening. You need to be able to enjoy what's happening and, yeah, play with these tools. They're fantastic. But probably I think I'm just going to put links in the description. This actual recording too is an experiment. I'm going to give it to my agent to edit. I'm using open source software to do it, and we'll see how that comes out, because that's just another, I guess, hole in my systems where I was paying for a fairly expensive platform, and I'm happy to do away with subscriptions. Another one I wanted to give a shout out to, if you want something that's a really good user-friendly way to have systems running in your business, and it just tucks into the back end of your WordPress website if you're on WordPress, and it just runs as a really light file, but it gives you a dashboard. It's called Studio J. Julian Schmidt's built that. And so I'll put the link in the description for that for you to have a look at too. If you've got questions, put them in the comments, or you can book a call with me and we can run through, you know, what annoys you in the processes in your business and what you could fix. And yeah, obviously I built mine out marketing first because that's what I do end to end. But it's so far beyond that. I've helped clients who are in fairly high compliant industries who had a big project to do and would have taken them a couple of months manually, and we've done it in a few hours. There are so many ways you can do things that are just better. So anyway, let me know what you're building, what's working for you. And I just want to encourage you, I guess, not to use shiny little wrappers that just do part of a job, but instead build yourself a custom system that's tailored to your business, that runs on your infrastructure, and that you can change for the language models anytime you like. You're not stuck in anything, and you're not paying subscriptions all the time to everything too. So yeah, I'm Jo McKee, and this is The Jo Show.